title of her speech is, well, actually it's Mindy Sherack, To Lead or Not to Lead? That is the question. To lead or not to lead? Mindy Sherack.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I am here because this speech has chosen me. I have not chosen it. Like many of my speeches, I feel the inspiration, and it usually comes in the middle of the night. So I hope that my speech makes sense. Thank you very much, Cassandra, for speaking, because we are right on the same page here today. I am angry about the speech, about the leadership that we have going on. We have our recent casualty now with Governor Blagojevich, and I think it's become epidemic, and it bothers me. I would not be here today had it not been for the fact that I did have one leader who transformed my whole viewpoint on how good leadership can be, what it was and what it wasn't. So I would like to start with asking the group a question. How many of you have had a difficult leader or manager? Show of hands. And how many have had one that really inspired them? Okay, that's great. I wish we had more hands for the opposite, and that's part of why this speech is happening for me today. There are millions of books on what is a good leader, all great information, but I really want to boil it down to some key principles. And I want to quote 2 Corinthians 18 that says, that we focus our attention not on things that are seen, but on things that are unseen. And that is what I'm going to base my speech on today. A lot of the things that are in a good leader can't be studied. So we really need to get rid of our overdependence on the scientific method. If it can't be studied, it doesn't exist. That's not true. Another thing that inspired this speech was the presidential elections. Okay, I got into a lot of discussions with people about leadership, and I get a little fired up about the whole politics going on. And what people shared with me about their ideas on leadership also inspired this speech, because I found it very disturbing. A good leader is not a controlling, aggressive person that tries to operate in a silo mentality. Okay? In this country, and I've got there's an Art and Science of Leadership book that talked about collectivism versus individualism. In this country, the United States, which one do you think we favor more, an individualist or a collectivist value system? Very low on collectivist. Yes. Collectivism is really the extent to which people value groups and relationships. We are more that rugged individualist. You pull yourselves up by the bootstraps, and unfortunately that's what comes into our whole viewpoint of what leadership is. So, I want to sell you on that today, and I'll give you time at the end to apologize if you don't agree with me. Two great leaders that I have been impacted by. One was the manager that I had told you about who completely changed my viewpoint on how relationships and how leadership can work. And he said you cannot effectively lead without love. The second one is Geronimo, the great Indian chief, who said, show me what's in your heart. Those are the things that I'm going to use to talk about being able to diagnose and become a better leader ourselves. Some truths about communication. Communication is the fuel of effective leadership. Last month, Sporty was asked a table topic question to make a correlation between intellectual aptitude, leadership, and verbal skill. I want to sell you on that today, that there is a strong correlation. Our Toastmaster magazine talked about it in our last issue, and it was real hesitant about it. I think there's a very, very strong correlation. I really want to make that today. So some truths about communication being the fuel of effective leadership. Communication allows us to convey compassion and passion, trustworthiness. Every time we speak, we have an opportunity to create that in what we say, in the words that we use, and the way that we say it. It allows us to build a relationship or not, support or criticize, burn bridges or not. It also, and very importantly, reveals our true character and our attitude. I want you to think about a boiling pot of water. As the bubbles come up, it tells us how hot the water is. As our words, our thoughts, our attitudes, and our actions come out, it shows us what's inside. So when we look at leaders, we really need to look at what's inside a person. And we have many opportunities to see how it comes out. Leader and manager, are they the same? Absolutely they are not. A leader has vision. They look to create change through vision. They build relationships with their subordinates. A manager focuses on status quo, implementing policies and procedures, and remaining aloof to maintain objectivity with their subordinates. You can see they're very separate. They are not to be used interchangeably. I know very good managers who are not good leaders, and vice versa. So now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get a picture in your mind of a current or a past leader, someone that has impacted you or hasn't, and think about them as I ask you these questions. How do you tell if there's love in their heart? Going back to what Geronimo had said. What kind of listeners are they? Do they value listening? How do you feel when you're around them? Do you want to get away or do you want to stay in their presence? Do you trust them? Would you allow them with one of your family members? How high is their need to be in control or have power? Good leaders do not have a high need for power and control. That is the opposite of leadership. Okay, that's that mentality that a lot of people have. Good leaders also understand the importance of serving. A good leader serves. They don't try to control. Do they believe in what they are saying? Do they sell what they're saying to you? What is their self-confidence like? Do they focus on others or mind their own business? Are they critical of themselves and critical of others? Do they create change on building consensus? I know that Barack Obama in a lot of his speeches spoke about, and you can see his verbal ability. That is how you create consensus. So you can see there is a strong correlation between being able to speak well and build relationships. Are they willing to stand apart from their crowd no matter how painful? And before I wrap up, I would like to leave you with a story of a man who went to a gas station and said, "Sir, I just got a job. I'm moving to this new town. What kind of people am I going to find there?" And the gas station attendant said, "What kind of people did you find where you came from?" "Well, they weren't very nice. In fact, they were quite rude." "Well, you're going to find the same thing there." A few minutes later, another person came and said, "Hey, I'm moving to this new town. I got my family with me. What are the people like in this new town?" And he said, "What kind of people were they like where you came from?" "Oh, they were wonderful, loving people." "You're going to find the same thing here." And the first man said, "Well, which is it? Are they nice or are they rude?" And very simply, you will find things to be just the way you think they are. Attitude is absolutely everything. Thank you very much.